Hello all. This is more Arch Linux blinking cursor madness for you. This time I'm going to talk about LXDE desktop environment you can get in Linux, in this case Arch Linux, and how you can manipulate things and add parts from different desktop environments. So right now I'm logged in as root. I've already downloaded YowArt to use the command line or version for the Arch Linux user repository, because usually it's a good idea to get some stuff out of that. It makes things a lot easier. So I'm just going to exit out of the root terminal, and I'll log in as a user. And I've already modified my bash RCs, so I have aliases for Pacman, sync, and so on. So if you see me typing that, that's what it is. So Pacman, sudo Pacman dash capital S is, for me, is just pac, P-A-C, and so on. So right now I don't have much, so we do a disk-free dash H and a slash and 1.5 gigs or so. So there isn't much on here, just Arch Linux basically, and the core Linux and stuff. So it's easy enough. LXDE pulls down LXDM, of course, and a whole bunch of other things for you to get started. So Pacman, sudo Pacman dash capital S LXDE, and you see here, it gives you enough to get started. PCman FM is the default file manager. It does include OpenBox. GPIC view is the image viewer, and you have a terminal, and so on. So I'll just press enter to default all. It's not very big, and just let that download and install. Okay, so it's installed. Just one command I'm going to use is sudo systemctl enable LXDM, and for some reason the system's pausing on me. I don't know why. So I'll just enable that service. Alright, apologies, I had to do a quick restart of the VirtualBox. It just wasn't responding. So now it's enabled, so I'll just do a sudo reboot. Alright, when you get to this, I haven't manipulated the LXDM configuration file, so under default, just click LXDE and then click on your username and of course log in. You get presented with a nice LXDE wallpaper. However, for the most part, it's very minimal. There's a very basic start menu, which I'm not really that thrilled with personally, but it's good enough to get started, of course. No, I don't have a browser installed. I don't have a text editor. However, we do have the terminal, system tools, and LX terminal. So there's going to be quite a few things you can download, or I'm going to download, just to demonstrate how you can mix and match different desktop environments in Linux and get things to work the way you want to. Or in my case, the way I like to have things working. So to start, I'm going to get a text editor. I always use LeafPad, so I'm just Pacman, sudo Pacman dash capital S LeafPad, and I'm going to get the Xfce E4 stuff. So I'm going to get the XF4 dash panel, and that's going to pull in a few dependencies as well. Now we'll go to our start menu here, and we'll go to preferences, and a really handy utility is the default applications for LX session. You open that up, and you see LX terminal is enabled. Core applications, where it has panel, we can put in the Xfce 4 dash panel. You click reload. It may or not. Yeah, it does. It once you click reload, sorry, it'll ask you for the default. So I'm going to click one empty panel. I'm just going to leave it up there for now. Auto start. Right now, LX panel is starting, so just unclick that. You don't really have to remove that. So when we log in, log out, and log back in, hopefully we'll just have that panel running, and this whole thing down here won't be running anymore. Okay, so there we go. The LXDE panel is gone, and this is the Xfce 4 panel. So I'm just going to drag it down to the bottom, and obviously we're going to have to add item. Let's just add the default menu for now. Applications menu and a clock, notification area, window buttons. We'll close this and we'll go to, hopefully we can get the panel preferences. We're going to expand this to 100%. Items, we'll just put the separator and bring them up to here, and then window buttons will bring up above the separator. Clock is fine there. Notification area is fine there. And the separator, edit that, expand, and make it transparent. There we go. And display will lock the panel. And back to items. Window buttons will untick show handle and show flat buttons. And that's okay for a start. Now there's nothing in the notification area right now, so I'm just going to close this down. Another thing I like to use is the Xfce Whisker Menu plugin to replace the default menu item for the Xfce 4 panel. So I'm just going to install that. Press enter, and most of the other dependencies have already been downloaded, so that's good enough to start with. So for the Whisker menu, I like to go to properties and I set the transparency, even though we don't have any compositing yet, or compositor. Behavior, I tick all these, so it's more like this at the bottom. And commands, obviously this isn't going to work because we don't have Xfce 4 session installed. And obviously the settings manager is not going to work because we don't have that installed. So we can go to our preferences and applications at start. And you can look through, for example, to log out, the quit manager is LX session-logout. So you can copy that in. And go back to our Whisker menu and replace the logout. Paste that in with that. So now if I hit Whisker menu and the logout button, we get the LXDE session. And of course you can do the same if you want to lock the screen. It's LX lock. You just replace what was in there from just looking at the configuration here. You can see LX lock. Quick note on that LX lock is you need i3 lock. So I haven't found any keys yet, so we'll open our LX terminal, packs, search. I already have it installed. It's just sudo pacman-s i3 LOTK, and you see it's installed. That should run your lock screen. So if I go to my Whisker menu, lock, there it is. Kind of strange, but it's cool. So you don't do anything, you don't press enter, you just type in your password. And it unlocks the screen. Pretty neat, actually. So next up, you can go any way you want. I'm going to get a compositor effect. And then we'll move on to keyboard shortcuts. So we'll open the terminal again. And this time it's from YowArt and just Compton. And I think it's the JIT one we want. Yeah, it's number 4. So just download that. And once it's ready, just press enter to install. And we'll just type in Compton just to get started. Compton -B and then the ampersand. And we have some transparency going on. So let's take a look at our terminal and go to Edit Preferences. It's background. Click on the background and it has opacity. Drag it to 210 or something, press OK. OK, and now we have a transparent panel because Compton is now running. It won't run at startup because we have to add that to our startup application. Now, since OpenBox is installed, there are some configuration files already made for you that are primarily obviously for LXDE. So if we go to our System Tools, File Manager, PCman FM, there's applications here. But let's open a terminal, I think F4, yeah. So press F4 in PCman FM by default. What we can do, I always do, is ln, just a symbolic link. So ln-s.config, openbox, and then openbox. So like a shortcut, basically. Oop. Enter. And now we have a shortcut to openbox here. And you edit preferences. Single click I usually like. So I'll just single click to open the open box, and there's our RC menu. You can open that with leaf pad, wrap the word, find run. So there we go. Key bindings for running applications. You can take this part, where key bindings, I'll highlight that to where it has the N key bind. And just copy and press enter and paste that in. Okay, so use that as a template and say Alt is just the letter C. I'm A. C is control, and it's like a minus sign, and T, it's going to be an executable. Enable is true, and for a name, terminal. And what we want to launch is LX terminal. And we'll save. However, that won't kick in until we open the terminal. Type in open box, reconfigure. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll quit and see if that's working. There we go. So Control Alt T. See, I have it backwards, but it still understands that as Control Alt T, but it does work. So you can go on and add more if you want, like to open your home folder, and Alt H to open your home folder. Now you notice there, we don't have documents or videos or anything. What's going on? That's because I forgot to install the user directories, which will generate them for you. So still in the command line, sudo pacman-S xdg-user-dirs. Press enter, and very small, and then just type in xdg-user dirs-update, and let's open our home folder. Bingo, presto. Now we have documents, downloads, music, and etc. and our symlink to OpenBox. So we can move on to dressing this up a bit, add some icons and icon themes and desktop window themes and so on. So ends -icon-theme, so I'll copy that, and sudo pacman-S. I'll paste that in, press enter. This might take a little while to install in the VirtualBox. Alright, now it's an icon set has been installed. I'm going to get this GTK engine Aurora. It's like ClearLooks family, as it says here. So again, just copy and sudo pacman-S and paste that in and press enter and proceed with installing. So let's go to our Whisker menu, preferences, customize look and feel, and let's choose Aurora and click apply. That looks a little better. Round buttons and icon theme, Faenza, apply. One program I use all the time is from the user repository, is the Gtk Scene Configuration. So YAWART Gtk-theme config, I think. And it's the first one here. So 1, not Q1. And the usual drill. Edit package, no. Edit the install, no, it's fine. And download and build. Let's go to the GTK Scene Configuration tool. And the only part I usually mess around with is a custom panel. So I turn this on. Background panel color. Select. And panel text. Select. That's on. Apply. We'll close this. We don't have a notification daemon running, so we'll just log out and log back in. There we go. So now we have a different looking panel. And let's fix up Compton a bit. Back to the terminal. And it's we're going to do copy Xfce xdg Compton config conf.example 2 dot our home config file to Compton .conf, and we're going to pkill Compton And we'll just run Compton again, -B, and the AND. There we go. Now we have some fading effects and so on. You can see. So now we can go to our panel preferences. You can change the opacity, or the alpha transparency of the panel if you wish. And let's change the background to red or something. Open. There we go. Nothing really crazy. And you see there's transparency at the bottom panel. And let's fix up the Compton command. We'll go to Preferences, Xfce, Core Applications. You just Composite Manager. You just type in Compton. And the Auto Start settings. You just simply type in Compton. You don't have to put the @ or any other arguments. And it's running, as you can see, no problem. Alright, so I've downloaded the Arch Linux wallpaper from Pacman, and it goes in the USR share Arch Linux and then under wallpaper. So PCman FM, you can get that to handle desktop wallpaper. So desktop preferences, and here it is here. If I click this, there's the path, USR share Arch Linux and wallpaper. So if you're using wireless or you just want to keep an eye on your network, there is probably an Xfce4 plugin, I believe, but you can get Network Manager applet, Network Manager and its applet through Pacman, of course. So more things to download and more dependencies, and we'll look for, I think it's Network Manager applet. I think there it is. GNOME keyring you probably want if you're using, I don't have to on this in VirtualBox, but if you're using wireless, you probably want to have that. In any case, we'll do a sudo system ctl enable, it's capital N on that, network manager.service, and just enables everything else below it. So upon reboot, we should have a little applet here in the system tray. Okay, so it's shaping up pretty nice, and you can, as I said, you can customize Linux and distributions in so many different ways. It's astounding. So I have the LX Task Manager here, and we're looking at about 190 megs with the composite running, and obviously the other applets running in the background. I did forget to mention to install GVFS. So you'll have the trash applet and other things in your file manager. If you want to add a bookmark, you can right click and say add bookmark, or you can just open that folder, say what did I do, music, and press Control D like you would in Firefox, for example, or Chrome. You can add that, you can drag them around to whatever order you want, and right click and just remove or rename the bookmark. So as you're customizing your LXDE desktop, you can look for Clipboard Manager. I didn't find that in the default repository, so I just downloaded Parcelet, and we'll just copy that name, and we'll just paste it in the Clipboard Manager. Right click and paste, and click Reload. And it should, if it's not auto starting right away, or it's not starting right away, you could look at your auto start and add. So for example, you could try that. So paste that in and click add, and you can always check to see if it's going to run by logging out or restarting. Alright, so most of this is finished up to some capacity. Its limitations are in VirtualBox, of course. But I've added the Xfce4 audio mixer, and you can run it from right click, or you can run it from the terminal. From the start menu under sound and video. I've added Vlc Player, and it throws in this programming stuff once it installs. So let's open VLC. And it's okay, but it doesn't look that great. Like if you go to Tools and Preferences, it's all flat looking. One way to work around that is just to get started on something is again through Pacman. I'm just going to do a search again. I think it's Qt Curve. So VLC Player is based on Qt Curve-Qt4. I'm not sure if this is going to work in VirtualBox, but I know on a main system, with the right hardware, it usually takes effect immediately. So sudo pacman-S, and I'll paste that in. Okay, so we can get out of our terminal, and I also installed GM run. So you can just VLC, press tab, and let's go to Tools, Preferences. Yeah, that's better. So it's a little more rounded corners and stuff. Like I said, you can mess around with that, the Qt curve, I believe. So that's just to get a better looking, any kind of Qt applications with your Gtk as well, which most of this is based on. And a nice utility. There's lots of them around, but without downloading all the GNOME dependencies or Java or anything, Menu Libre is not bad. It gives you a little hint if it crashes. Just move your config menus to menus.old, config menus.old. So, for example, I've trimmed down the menu a little bit. Now, say if you wanted programming on, you just tick that so it's not hidden, and then this is the save button here, and then you go to, and there's your programming. But I usually don't have that on, so save. Now you probably noticed the internet's gone because you removed those VNC applications. So I don't know, you can do anything. Let's open a terminal, and let's use the user repository. Let's get Google Chrome, something different. So Google-Chrome. Alright, so Google Chrome has been installed. You see Internet here, nice clean menu. And so we'll launch Google Chrome the first time. I like to always start up in the, if I use a Chrome, is the Chrome and just apps. There we go. Just open up in the apps. A little more comprehensive than the Chromium that you get out of the box that has, shortcuts to stuff you might want to use right away. So it's pretty neat. Okay, so I think that should pretty much wrap it up. I'm trying to remember if I've forgotten anything, but pretty nice desktop environment. Fairly lightweight. You can get you can add as much as you want. You can make the Compton not as intense, or you can remove the shadowing effects and so on. But just to give you an idea of what you can do with a Linux desktop environment, and in this case LXDE, it is really, really neat, I think, and there's so much you can do with it. Notably the out of the settings and stuff. Again, VirtualBox problems. Notably under the default applications for LX, there's so many options you can have, such as disk utility. Okay, so that should do it for this one. I think I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm also I may continue this because I don't see a central, like a control center or a control panel in LXDE. Maybe there is one, but that might be dependent on the whoever's distributing the desktop, I guess. Okay, so I'll leave you with that, and please feel to add any comments or questions, and I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so very much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon, and bye for now.